Hey, it's Dr. Jaban. So today I'm talking about those people that come in and they say, my symptoms came out of nowhere. It was like I was doing everything in life just fine, and then all of a sudden, the floor fell out from under me. Or the saying, the the straw that broke the camel's back. So what's going on with people that come in and say that to me? Well, typically it's because you're living a life where your body is able to adapt to everything that it's struggling with up until the point the floor fell out from under you. The straw that broke the camel's back, until that event happened. So for you, your bucket, if you can think of your body as a bucket, so you've got a 5-gallon bucket here, and as it fills up to the top, when it gets to the top, it overflows, right? So that's you, that's your body. Think of that analogy as I'm talking through this. So you're living your life where you're just a little bit under the top of that bucket all the time. And you're able to adapt to all these different situations that are happening in your life. You're able to adapt to the stress from work, and your stress goes up, but it doesn't go to the top, and then it comes back down. And you're able to adapt to the stresses of a pandemic and all the stress that comes with that. It goes up, and then when it goes away, it comes back down. So your body's fine until two things stack on, which is the stress of work gets you up here, and then you're like, all right, I can handle this. Because you're already handling Lyme bacteria and parasites and viruses and toxins. So you have this little bit of space above that you're able to work within. Up until that moment where you get that phone call that says, we've got to reduce your hours at work. Someone that you care about is going to die. You get into a car accident. Something happens where all of a sudden now you're over the top, and then overflowing stress happens to you. And that's when you get symptoms. So it's not that you got bit by a tick today. Maybe you got bit by a tick 3 years ago, and then your body was able to handle the adaptation to the infections that were coming in. So your body could handle the bacteria. It could handle the parasites. It could handle the virus even. And you were living just fine until you reached out and you grabbed your cat. You picked it up and it scratched you. And now you got Bartonella from the cat. Or it bit you and you got Bartonella from the cat, which is a bacteria. And now that added infection put you over top of your bucket, and all of a sudden everything comes pouring out and you're like, how did all of this happen? Or that would be a really bold situation though. Most people would say it's because of the cat. But many people, they don't realize that it's because you had that stressful week and you didn't eat enough, or you went out to the restaurant and you got a little food poisoning and you felt some digestive tract struggling, but it wasn't huge. And then all of a sudden, all these symptoms start piling on until you are just bottomed out and you can't even function anymore. So that's typically how it works. Now, for those of you who say things like, I just flare and I don't know why, I can never figure it out. It's because, again, your bucket's way up here and it's something small, it's something minute, but it's something different all the time. So your situation where you're looking for that one food that's going to cause your trigger, you're looking for that one time a day that's going to cause your trigger, or that full moon or something else that's going to cause your trigger, and it's always changing to where you can never quite understand what it is. It's because it's simply just stress. So you have to stop thinking about it's strongyloids, it's Lyme, it's mold, it's, I'm pointing the finger at everything. You've got to start thinking about stress as stressors. Stressors can be anything that cause a taxation of your body. So that can be a really hard workout. That can be a stressful situation at work, or a stressful personal situation. That can be an infection, a toxin, a lack of sleep. So those are stressors. So if you have a bucket that is massively overflowing and you're trying to understand each day why some new symptom triggers, or why this other thing is happening, why you keep experiencing new things, stop chasing that trigger and start thinking about how to empty the bucket with the things that you already know. It's not to say that the trigger isn't important that you're trying to search for, but it could be that your bucket is so overflowing that things that should never trigger you are. So for instance, Is pollen really that bad for you? Can it kill you? Unlikely. But for some of us, it is a massive allergen, a huge allergen, right? That can trigger so many people in this page to have a flare with their other parasite Lyme toxic symptoms. Because to your body, it is a stressor. And it is enough of a stressor that your body is reacting to it, even though if you were to empty your bucket all the way out, pollen no longer is a problem. You don't even recognize it as an allergen anymore. Your body doesn't get the sniffles and all this other stuff from it. So I've had many people who have allergens, myself included, to things like almonds, where I had tons of gut trouble with almonds. I had eyes that were just blackened under. I had neck pain, all sorts of things going on. And once I was able to get through the treatment, empty my bucket, my body started recognizing almonds as almonds. The food, an energy source, a fat source, an omega source, things that are good for me. It stopped identifying it as an allergen because I had time to take to learn and identify what is this. So the whole moral of the story for this video is, if you're looking for the straw that broke the camel's back, if you're saying, all of a sudden I just broke down into these horrible symptoms and I don't know why, look back, way back, and start thinking, did things start to add up? And then this final thing that seems so small, so much like it couldn't have been the thing, was that enough to throw me off? So it's like the person that throws their back out by just bending over to pick up a pencil. That didn't injure you, not in the long run. It was the fact that your hips were twisted and the muscles were imbalanced for a year and your one arch had dropped, so your hips were unleveled. And then you got up when your body was cold and you bent over to pick up that pencil, and now your back goes out because of all those other reasons that just happened to build up to you bending over at the wrong moment after sitting down too long with just enough inflammation in your back that, boom, muscle spasm, and now you can't stand back up. So take that concept and put it back into your internal health and think, okay, so yeah, I've been bit by ticks and I've had heavy metals in my water. We all have. I've been around mold and I've inhaled toxicity from bleach or whatever other chemicals were around me, and all that's in me, but I could handle it up until my bucket got too full and now it's overflowing. So now the solution to this is not to go, I've got to figure out the thing that put me over the edge. It's to go, okay, what is the most effective way for me to empty this bucket so that I can get well? Now, I've talked in a lot of other videos about how to do that, so I'm not going to go there right now. There's even the detox file in True Healing Strategies group. So if you're seeing this video somewhere else, such as YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, join True Healing Strategies and look at it there, because all this information is going to be embedded in there. But what you've got to do is just really, truly focus on emptying that bucket. And so many people that have watched my videos have been working on that, but they haven't gotten to the roots that are keeping them sick, which could be those parasites, because they constantly are putting more toxins in them. The viruses that are constantly changing your DNA, causing genetic SNPs. The bacteria that are releasing ammonia and other neurotoxins. The fungus are releasing acetaldehydes. Those are the things that if you remove them, and you're already eating organic and staying away from heavy metals and staying away from mold, that's when you really start to see a huge change in your health. Now, if you haven't started eating organic and avoiding mold and avoiding as much EMF as you can, start doing those things immediately, because those are easy. All you got to do is avoid. And I know it sounds a lot easier when I just say just avoid, when you haven't thought about, man, the fact that my Wi-Fi router could be causing me to be sick, or that food that I just bought that wasn't organic is putting more toxins in me every time I eat it, or me choosing to stay up and do a Netflix binge till 2 o'clock in the morning and only getting 5 hours of sleep actually decreases my brain's ability to detoxify, leading to further headaches and brain fog and everything else that comes along with a toxic brain, depression and anxiety. So start taking every chance you have to take your health back. to empty that bucket so that you can get back to the relationships that you're missing, the love of your children, spouse, friends, and family, because you're so sick or tired or anxious that you can't enjoy all of those things. All right, so that is my spiel today about the straw that broke the camel's back, why the floor fell out from under me, why the symptoms all of a sudden just appeared. So if you know somebody who is struggling with their health drastically and can't put their finger on why, share them this video. Invite them to our group. Tag them in this. Let's help them get better. Let's grow a community that together gets well against all odds. Thanks everybody for watching.